I used to always wonder if people considered me a courageous person. Most people probably wouldn't think themselves courageous. We tend to reserve that title for others. At least I know I did. Me? Courageous? Maybe. But I could certainly point to more times in my life when I felt afraid than when I felt courageous. I can think of moments in middle school where I was afraid to stand up for myself. Moments in college when I felt afraid to pursue full-time ministry because at the time my dad didn't approve. And even moments now in my adult life today where I'm afraid to mess up this whole parenting thing. I used to think having courage meant not being afraid, but I had it wrong. Having courage is not the absence of fear, but rather having courage means moving forward even in the face of fear. Courageous people do in fact feel fear, but they are compelled to push through their fear. That means you can't have courage without fear. Courageous people do it scared. One of my favorite characters in all of Scripture is a guy named Gideon, and I think I like him so much because of how relatable he is. We are introduced to Gideon in the book of Judges during a time when Israel finds itself under the oppression of the Midianites. The odds were stacked against Israel. They were constantly living in fear, and God had chosen Gideon to lead Israel into battle against them. But Gideon was terrified. He gives God all the valid reasons why he is not capable. Honestly, you have to appreciate his self-awareness. But God's response, not empty affirmation. He knew what Gideon was and wasn't capable of. But God gave Gideon a promise that compelled Gideon to push through his fear and show courage. God promised Gideon, "I will be with you." And that truth rings true today. God is with you. God is with me. No matter what I face, no matter what I'm walking through, even when things aren't going the way my control freak self had all planned out, or even when I'm down and hurting, my God is still with me. So I want to ask a question that could shake up your life in the best possible way. What would you do if you were confident that God was with you? For me, the answer to that question has looked different during various seasons of my life. When I was in college, it was standing up for my faith, even when it cost me, and serving my church, even when I felt unqualified. More recently, the answer to that question has looked like starting a college ministry and even navigating family drama and tension. What might it be for you? What job would you accept or quit? What difficult conversation would you have? What conviction would you follow? What relationship would you seek to reconcile? God is with you, for you, behind you. And while his presence is not a guarantee of an outcome that we would deem successful, one thing is for sure. We'll not regret courageously taking a step of faith God is calling us towards. So let's do it scared.